The WWE Universe got shaken to its core this week, and I, for one, am looking forward to the aftermath. This is my reaction to the April 17th, 2018 episode of Smackdown Live. Woo! What's up, guys? I am Bernard Boo. This is WrestleBoo, and last night was Smackdown Live. It was the second night in WWE's Superstar Shake-Up event, and it was yet again another great show. Last night's episode was tight, it was fast-paced, we saw a lot of debuts, a lot of returns, some great wrestling, and I've just been so happy with WWE programming over the past couple weeks post-WrestleMania. The show opened with AJ Styles cutting a promo on Shinsuke Nakamura, who nutted him at WrestleMania and nutted him again last week on SmackDown Live, and I noticed that AJ Styles, man, he's improved so much with his promo skills, his mic skills. He was bad. In TNA and Impact Wrestling, he was not good on the mic. I don't think he ever was, even towards the end of his run. But now in WWE, because he's got so much screen time and he has been champion so much, he's gotten that practice, he's gotten that on-screen time in, and he's really good. He's a good promo now. I think the same can be said for Daniel Bryan, who turned out to be AJ Styles' tag team partner last night after Rusev and Aiden English came out to antagonize AJ, started beating him down, and then Daniel Bryan came out to save the day. We see this pretty much every week on Raw and SmackDown. We know that this is going to lead to a tag team match. Actually, later on in the night, Paige made a reference to Teddy Long setting up tag team matches on SmackDown back in the day. And we even saw this cute little moment where Shane McMahon started doing the little Teddy Long dance or jig, and Paige kind of caught him doing it when he thought he was alone. It was funny. Next up, we're reminded that Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable as a tag team are no more. Chad's on Raw. Shelton Benjamin comes out on SmackDown Live, cuts a heel promo, and says he challenges anybody in the locker room to challenge him in that ring. I actually like this promo. Shelton Benjamin, another guy who used to suck on the mic, but now, after all these years, he's a pro. He's pretty good on the mic. Randy Orton's music hits. He comes out to challenge Shelton Benjamin, and this kind of gave me a flashback because Randy and Shelton were part of that same developmental class that included Batista and John Cena and Brock Lesnar, and it was like a Ruthless Aggression era flashback. And the nostalgia continued when a debuting Jeff Hardy came out to kind of bump Randy out of the way and challenge Shelton Benjamin himself. Randy looked annoyed that Jeff Hardy came out. Maybe this is hinting at a future feud. So this was interesting. I mean, these three guys, they were tearing it up like 10 years ago, 10 years plus ago. For Jeff, I think it's almost 20 years. So it's kind of crazy that these three are still so relevant and putting on good television on SmackDown Live. The crowd was super into this match, and that was so great to see the crowd react to these two guys who are thriving now in their later years of their career. It makes me like kind of proud and nostalgic for these two because I saw them when they started coming up. Now, on yesterday's Raw reaction episode, I said that I would have liked to see Seth Rollins move over from Raw to SmackDown instead of Jeff Hardy take his Intercontinental Championship to SmackDown. But we got Jeff Hardy and the U.S. Championship, and I'm okay with it. You know, Jeff had a really good run on SmackDown for many, many years. You know, had great matches with The Undertaker and CM Punk on that show, and he was getting really hot right before he left WWE. I think he was on SmackDown, and it was a really good run, so let's see the continuation of that. Good stuff. Miz is on SmackDown Live now, but he wasn't there last night. He did a little smartphone promo that a lot of the superstars have been doing lately, and it was pretty good. Maurice and their daughter were on there. I was kind of surprised to see his daughter on national TV, but I guess if anyone's going to put their child on national TV, it'd be The Miz. We also got an on-screen announcement that Absolution, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are heading over to SmackDown Live, so them and the Riot Squad kind of swap places there on brands. I think that's fine. You know, I don't really know these women as performers well enough to have a preference of what show they land on, so cool. Yeah, I'm cool with it. Next up, we had Jey Uso and Luke Harper going at it in a one-on-one encounter. I think the two tag teams at the Greatest Royal Rumble, the Bludgeon Brothers and the Usos, are going at it for the SmackDown tag team strap. So yeah, we got a really short like one-on-one match here. It was almost a squash match, actually. Luke Harper gets the win after really squashing Jey Uso. I was surprised by that. Maybe this is them trying to get the Usos to look like big underdogs here. I don't know if it's working, but it was just so short, it kind of just passed by. Afterwards, the Bludgeon Brothers threatened to use their hammers or whatever. They're sledgehammers. They're not sledgehammers. They're just regular hammers. Like big Thor hammers or something. But anyways, they threatened to really hurt the Usos with those things, but then Naomi came out to save her husband. I thought this was actually a really nice touch because Naomi and the Usos are not involved in storylines, so for her to come out, it kind of gave it the flavor that this was like real danger. I know we all know that this is scripted and Naomi was sent out there for the story, but still, it gave that texture, that kind of texture of a shoot. Next up, we had another debut, and it was my debut of the night, Samoa Joe, making the jump from Raw to SmackDown. And I think not a lot of superstars, or not all superstars, I should say, fit on that SmackDown Live brand. I think SmackDown has a very specific vibe of like an in-ring action focus, but Samoa Joe, he fits on that brand and it doesn't feel like a step down from Raw. I think SmackDown actually suits Joe better than Raw. Joe had a squash match. I actually forget with who, but he looked really, really good in there. He's so nasty, so vicious, his knees, his strikes, and a lot of it, even though it's his body, he's using his body to beat up his opponents, a lot of it is his face. If you look at his face while he wrestles, he has that kind of, it looks genuine, that he wants to hurt these people. He looks mad. He looks mean. He looks like a monster. He is monstrous in there, and his theme music reflects that too. And speaking of being monstrous, Joe cut a monstrous promo after the match, calling out guys like Randy Orton and AJ Styles, saying he's going to defang the Viper and do something else terrible to AJ Styles. Anyways, it sounded really, really menacing. Samoa Joe has changed the tone. He's changed the mood. Like a Taz from years ago, the mood has changed. Samoa Joe just has this aura around him. It's like serious business when he comes out. He is on a hot streak right now, and he just came back. Then we got a video package confirming that Sanity is graduating from NXT to SmackDown Live. It's so cool to see all these TNA guys get on the WWE main roster and play major roles. Eric Young, although he's not, as high profile of a TNA guy as an AJ Styles or a Bobby Roode or a Samoa Joe, Eric Young did so much for that company. He was there, I think, from the beginning or very early on. He went through so many iterations of his character, and to see him now in WWE with this awesome stable and with this new character that he fits so well into, I'm so happy for him, and I can't wait to see him and his cohorts on SmackDown Live. They did not confirm whether or not Nikki Cross will be coming up to SmackDown Live. She wasn't in the graphic, like the graphic they showed of the team. She wasn't included in that, I don't think. So hopefully she comes up with them, but if not, let's see where her career goes from here. Who knows? Then we got a backstage segment that saw Daniel Bryan talking to Renee Young, and this was so cool. Renee Young, at a certain point, started looking beyond Daniel Bryan. Daniel noticed this, turned around, and he was nose to chest with somebody. It was just this massive chest in front of Daniel Bryan's face. The camera pans up, and it reveals that it's a returning Big Cass. I was so high on this guy right before he left. He ditched Enzo Amore, and on his own, he was such a great heel. I think he's so good in the ring. He's a big dude, but he's fast, man. He's so fast and athletic, and he can take these spills over the top rope to the outside that I don't understand how he does them. He's this huge dude just flying through the air, like leaping over the top rope, like Seth Rollins style almost. And he's so good. I think his potential is through the roof. He's on SmackDown Live now, and this is what SmackDown Live is for, giving these young guys an opportunity to play at that main event level, to be nose-to-nose with some of these more experienced guys like a Daniel Bryan, like an AJ Styles. I think these guys are going to help mold Cass, Big Cass, into one of the brightest young superstars coming up today. Speaking of Big Cass, we got his real-life girlfriend and former manager Carmella coming out next to have a Mellabration celebrating her win of the SmackDown Women's Championship after she cashed in her Money in the Bank briefcase on Charlotte Flair last week. And she cut this promo where, man, she's just this motor mouth, and she's talking about how great she is and, all she's done and all she's accomplished, even though she hasn't done anything as women's champion. The crowd was booing her. I didn't know she was this good on the mic. She was so obnoxious and it felt natural. Maybe she's an obnoxious person in real life. I doubt it. She seems like a sweet girl from all the like out of character stuff I've seen. But anyways, this promo was just blazing, man. Carmella might be one of the most exciting women's champions we've seen in a while. Then, predictably, the Iconics come out again. They beat down Charlotte Flair last week, costing her her title. And the Iconics come out and cut another heel promo where they're just bullying Charlotte and making fun of her for being a crybaby or something. And again, the crowd was feeling it, and I was feeling it too, man. The Iconics on the mic are impressing me. I mean, in the ring, Peyton Royce already impresses me, but then last night, Billie Kay got her chance to impress me in the ring when she went up against Charlotte Flair. I also forgot to mention that Becky Lynch came out in support of her friend Charlotte. Billie Kay looks really improved in that ring. At first, I wasn't really feeling her. I preferred Peyton Royce in the squared circle, but Billie Kay looks really good in there. Maybe it's like Charlotte Flair bringing something out of her, but she looks more refined now. Like the way she moves in there, she's more assured, self-assured when she even just walks across that ring. It was really good stuff. And the match broke down when the Iconics and Carmella started beating down Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. But then we got another debut coming down to save the day. Asuka, now a permanent part of SmackDown Live, came down to help her girls Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. And I think that's a good fit too. Like a Samoa Joe, I think Asuka, with her really savvy and frenetic in-ring style, I think she really fits well on SmackDown Live. And when she beat up the Iconics, man, the way she moves is so electric, so electrifying. She's just like a ball of lightning in there. I love watching her wrestle. Next up, we got a pair of video packages confirming that The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, and the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, are heading over to SmackDown. I'm not able to do the math in my head right now, but it feels like SmackDown has like all the tag teams. Yeah, it seems pretty stacked in SmackDown's favor right now. Let's see if that stays that way. Then we got this random backstage segment with the New Day where it was revealed that R-Truth is a member of SmackDown now. I didn't even know he was a member of WWE anymore. This is one of these guys who I respect so much, but I don't know why he's still on TV when we should maybe be, elevating some of these younger guys. He's not that exciting or over at this point in his career. I don't know. I don't know why. But anyways, this backstage segment was funny as hell. R-Truth does make me laugh. I'll always give him that. He's hilarious. He's like, isn't this exciting that we're on Raw, guys? He thought he was on Raw, but it was SmackDown. He thought it was Monday when it was really Tuesday. It was classic Truth stuff. I loved it. And Ty Dillinger got involved in the segment too. It was just random. I think it was just to get Ty's face on there to remind people he was on SmackDown Live, whatever. It was a fun segment. Then, in what was my second favorite Superstar announcement of the night, it was announced that Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega are making their way up to SmackDown Live from NXT. I wanted this in my NXT TakeOver reaction video. I said I would love for Andrade to be on SmackDown. Another one of these superstars whose in-ring style fits on that show. I think he has the opportunity to really tear it up and make some waves on the blue brand. He's so good in the ring. And if you're good in the ring, SmackDown's the show you want to be on. Next up, it was main event time. Rusev and Aiden English against the super team of Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. I think those two as a tag team is just so cool to me. It's like Batman and Superman or something. These two, I think it's because their styles are so similar and they're both like these indie legends and they've really, conquered the world even though they came from small beginnings. So to pair them together, it was like geeky for me. I was super geeking out. Appropriately, this was the match of the night. Super, super good. I was happy to see that Rusev and Aiden English were in the main event of SmackDown. Good for them, man. I have a Rusev video coming up talking about his rise to where he's at right now, how he's so over with the fans. But yeah, Rusev main evented SmackDown. Awesome. And I have to say about Aiden English, man, I love the way he sells. It's like Dolph Ziggler level selling where it really catches your eye. Depending on the move he gets hit with, he just like kind of tumbles and bounds across that ring in ways you don't expect. And the shapes he makes with his body after he gets hit with these moves is just so weird and unique, and it makes the move look more painful. So he's doing his job as well for the other guy. So Daniel Bryan is always on fire in that ring, but it never ceases to amaze me. It's just, you know what I think? I think it's his speed, man. The speed with which he runs across that ring and hits those drop kicks and dives and stuff. He is so fast. It's kind of startling sometimes when I'm watching him. It's really exciting. And what's also cool about that is he's not really taking any risks when he's doing that. When he's hitting those like drop kicks, he's making the fans excited simply by his effort, right? Like how fast he's running, how much effort he's putting into his movements, and how emphatic he is about his offense, and his selling's really good too. So, you know, anyways, let's get into it. Big Cass interfered in the match, giving Daniel Bryan the big boot, and Daniel Bryan looked like he got shot in the face. Honestly, he's really good at selling, just like Aiden English. And kind of right after that big boot hit, Shinsuke Nakamura out from the crowd, out of nowhere. We thought he wasn't there that night, but he came out and low-blowed AJ once again. I love this. Man, this feud between Shinsuke and AJ, it feels hot right now. Man, it is the premier angle on Smackdown Live. It feels good. It feels like people don't like Shinsuke. It feels like people hate AJ Styles, and it feels like they hate each other. There's so much tension, and I can't wait to see their match at the Greatest Royal Rumble. It's gonna be sick. That about wrapped it up for Smackdown Live. I think the Superstar Shake-Up was a success. There were some smart switches from Raw to Smackdown and vice versa, and while a lot of the main event players stayed in place, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good way to uphold and maintain the identities of Raw and Smackdown. I'll get into the results of the Superstar Shake-Up more in depth in an upcoming video, but for now, thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Let me know what you thought of Smackdown Live and the Superstar Shake-Up in the comments below. I am Bernard Boo, this is WrestleBoo, and I'll see you next time.